What's up, everybody? It's your boy, General Little Sucker here. Welcome back to the battlefield. In today's episode, we're going to play some Beyblade V-Force Super Tournament Battle. And today's episode, it is going to be a different one because it's in dub. Get it? I'm dubbing over what I played. Because if you guys don't know, I have been watching Beyblade, the TV series, okay? The original one, 2001 through 2003. It has 3 seasons. I'm already on season 1, by the way. And there's 154 episodes. And I'm currently on episode 20. Well, I just finished it. So I was thinking, because there has to be a Beyblade game, right? Because I remember when I was really little, I played the Game Boy version and I sucked at it because I could never let it rip. And by the way, in the sub is actually shoot. 1, 2, 3, go shoot. Instead of, 1, 2, 3, let it rip, because obviously you can't say shoot in, an American kids dialogue television. I don't know why. But anyway, so I figured, let's go find a game, play it, and then discover ourselves, give my first impression. But I realized, wait, hold on. I was really curious about, Beyblade, because when we were young, back in my days, we thought Beyblade was an American TV show. Couple years, probably like early 2000s, or maybe me because I'm slow or something on the computer. I realized it's Japanese, so it's a Japanese anime, and so that means that you're gonna have a lot of different, how do I describe this? Different viewpoints, different changes, mobility, anything that you thought was cool is not, okay? I'm not trying to rip the dub, but the dub is really whack, and I am so frustrated that the dub that we got as a child were crap, because the dub is whack, and it just disrespects the original Japanese sub. And I watched the dub and sub. So I'm watching the dub first, and then after the episode's over, then we watch the sub. Okay, and then my mind exploded. I realized how much difference there are, and how much character development changes, how much the dialogue is so different, how much the soundtrack is completely different. So let's talk about the soundtrack first. The Japanese soundtrack is so much better to its English dub counterpart. The tone is rightly pitched, rightly used at certain points in the episodes. While the dub, some of it is like, okay, I can understand why they put it. And then when the Beyblade battles, then they have that terrible Beyblade songs they use. And it just kind of ruins the moment for me, because it doesn't take it so seriously enough. Oh my god, I was so pissed. I'm sorry, this is going to be like a huge rant, but I'm not trying to. So this episode is going to be like a comparison and contrast. Sub and dub. So let's get it started, because I don't know how I can contain myself. And by the way, I actually wrote all of this in the script for the first time, so I have everything listed right here. So let's just get into it. So we're going to talk about Kenny first. So before we talk about the dub version and the sub version, let's talk about him in general. So Kenny's the small kid that you can't see his eyes because he has such bushy hair and glasses on top of his head. And basically what he does, that he helps the game to understand Beyblade tactics-wise, upgrade their stats, upgrade their Beyblades, tell them what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, and that's basically what he does. So let's talk about the sub first. So in the sub, he's really smart, and what do I mean by that? He knows everything about Beyblade. Sometimes he does get his calculation messed up, but then he quickly, helps them out what he realized what he done is wrong. That's cool. So, and also in the sub, they call him Professor. And so in that status, that means because he is like the general manager of the team. And so they respect him and they admire him, and that's why he gives him that nickname, because he knows everything that can help them out. Okay, and so for the dub, it's a little bit different. So this is the one thing I actually like the dub. The sub didn't really do that well, in my opinion. So in the dub, if you guys remember, he has a laptop, right, that helps him calculate the data and figure out what to do in situations. Well, in the dub, he has this bit beast named Dizzy that's inside of his computer. And so that's pretty significant, because in the sub, there's no such thing as a Dizzy. So that's a made-up character for the dub. And I like it. I like Dizzy and Kenny. I think they have great, combination with each other, banter. They really mesh well with each other. So I really appreciate that. They also call him Chief. Instead of Professor, they just call him Chief. So there's a little different arities. And not really too much about his character. Really a change in the dub. He still acts the same in the sub. Just different dialogue. But let's go on to the next one. And that is my boy, Ray. So Ray's a very interesting character because he carries some baggage that we didn't realize is that serious until later episodes around episode 8 through episode 17. So we get to find out what Ray's plans are for his Beyblade career because he's from a hidden village in China. And so he wants to explore the outside world, wants to get out of quote-unquote bubble because he realized that his clan might not live through the next decade. So he wants to find new technologies, new ways to improve his Beyblading skills and for his clan so they can, be irrelevant. But, miscommunications. I know I said that wrong, but I don't care, okay? But anyway, so he wants to help his clan, but his clan doesn't realize that. And so they resent him, his former teammates resent him, and, they absolutely, is conflict, And so that's where the sub and dub kind of mesh with each other. They really have the same personality, same traits. The only one major difference, I think, the dub, they don't even mention he's Chinese, unlike the sub, where, it's clearly they do. But, I like that they kept him intact, nothing really too far out there, So, he's pretty much the same character, so I liked about that. So, let's talk about my boy, Maximilius. No, I'm sorry. He's no Roman emperor. No, we're talking about my boy Max. And Max is my favorite character from any of the Beyblade series. He's absolutely amazing character. So before we talk about the sub and dub counterpart, because there's a lot to talk about, we'll just talk about him in general. He's a nice, kind kid, heartwarming, doesn't get too frustrated, and when there's things that don't go his way, he has a positive attitude, and I like that. That brings towards me to him, because I like a person who has a nice, positive attitude, unlike mine, because I'm always negative all the time. But now let's talk about the difference. So in the dub, I feel like they really did him no good. They didn't do him any justice, and what do I mean by that is they don't even mention his mother in the dub. And that's a huge problem because it does come in later. If I can recall, because I'm on episode 20, you guys. The mother comes later, but they don't mention it when they first meet him in episode 3, and it's kind of disappointing. And because how he gets Dracil, his Bitbeast, is by his grandmother in the dub, but in the sub, his mother gives it to him, and that's so important because in the sub, his mother's not around, and you're thinking, why? Because she's dead? No. Because she lives in America. Because, ding, 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 Max is half Japanese, half American, a.k.a. he's a mutt, just like me. Okay, so maybe that's why I like him a lot even more, because that was shocking. I didn't know my boy was half and half. Okay? So his father's Japanese, his mother's American. And so obviously they're separated. So he's always kind of depressed, but, he finds comfort in Beyblade because Tyson told him, the same situation, and then that's how they bond with each other. And I love that about him. And Max is just a great character, and absolutely, yeah, he's such a good character, man. I'm so pissed that the dub kind of ruined him a little bit. Not like happy way, but like emotional, when he's really emotional. They don't show that about him. Kills me. Okay. On to the next one. Is Kai. Now, Kai is absolutely a very interesting character to think about because his whole philosophy is get stronger, get better, get powerful. Obviously he's so commonly used, that type of character, but he's a little bit different, and I'll explain this really chronological order, if I can even say that. The dub absolutely changed his character. So when you first watch or remember him, he's kind of like a tough guy, brute guy, he don't take no crap, he's serious. Well, in the dub, they make him a little nice. It's kind of weird, and like, what are you saying, Sake? How you make him a little nice? Well, if you guys kind of watch carefully, he actually shows compassion sometimes for his teammates and for some other Beybladers. And it's like, huh? I guess and the dialogue that he's given in the dub, they make him a little nicer. because in the sub, holy shit, he is pretty much a lone wolf, an asshole, and he's kind of a little bit of a racist. Now, when I say a little bit of racist, because he calls Max and Ray sometimes, he calls them natives. Now, that's a derogatory term to call someone who is a foreigner, right? Because they're in Japan, and since Max is clearly not full Japanese, he automatically called him a native. So, I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Do you guys think that's racist or not? Or they just think it's like light tone racist? I don't know. Leave in the comment section below, because I would like to know, get you guys' opinions on that. But that completely shocked me. I was like, whoa. That came out of 100% left field for a home run, because I didn't expect that to happen in a kid show. Well, maybe an anime show for kids, but an American dub, that would never fly. So I was very toned back, really. I got woke, you know. and that's what made me love Max even more, because when Max was confronted with that type of stereotype, he laughed it off and wanted to be Kai's friend, and that's awesome. I love Max for that. And so, yeah, they, in the dub and stuff, are very different Kais. One's nicer, but kind of mean, but one's really worse and worse. I know, how is that possible? But on that note, let's talk about the main character, Tyson. And Tyson's very different in the dub and sub, so we're not even going to try to compare who he is as a person, because this is the one thing I have problems with the dub. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot change the main character, because that's who we focus on. And the dub did a poorly job in explaining and giving us a reason why we should care about Tyson. Unlike its counterpart, the sub, where it's vastly, majorly, authentically better for this character, because this is the reason why you want to watch Beyblade, because of Tyson and what he does as a character. And it's just absolutely disrespectful. So let's talk about the dub, why I can't stand it. To me, it is the dialogue, and there's 3 good examples of this. First, being goofy. Second, being lazy. And third, friendship. So let's talk about goofy for a moment. So there's nothing wrong being goofy, funny, or entertaining, but when you have Tyson doing that in the wrong time, it doesn't mix well with me. It doesn't feel right. It feels unnatural. It feels like you're forcing him to be something that he's not. And that's a huge problem, because there's certain situations where I notice in the dub where he has like one-liners or certain liners that in the sub are serious, but in the dub they try to make him funny, and it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound right to me. The second one is pretty simple. It's his laziness for Beyblade understanding and knowledge. Pretty self-explained. Just watch the sub and watch the dub and you understand quickly. And the last one is friendship. So that's the most key important thing about him as a person, because in the dub, you do get to see him absolutely care for his teammates and kind of with other people, but it's not in greater detail when it comes to the sub. And before I go into the sub part of this category, I forgot to mention that his family, okay, his mother, brother, and father are not mentioned in the dub. And that's because in the sub, his mother died at a very young age, and his brother and father are travelers or researchers, I can't quite remember, and they go around the world and do stuff. In the sub, he actually cares about Beyblade, not as a game, but as a way of to coping his mother's death. And that's why he takes Beyblade seriously. That's why he doesn't allow anyone to disrespect his friends when it comes to Beyblade. He doesn't let anybody disrespect Beyblade at itself with the tournament, with regular battle. He doesn't like cheating. He doesn't like people breaking the rules. He doesn't like, well, that's the same thing. He doesn't like people breaking Beybladers. He doesn't like people taking advantage of new Beybladers. And that's why I like Tyson so much, because he understands what Beyblade is all about. So, on that point, if you guys like this video, hit a like button. If you guys dislike this video because of my opinions, that's totally fine. Or if I totally missed something out of the blue, hit a 180 out of the ballpark. Let me know in the comment section below, because I'm curious what you guys think about this. Do you like the sub? Do you like the dub? Do you not like any of it? Do you find it all boring, or who cares? I'm interested in what you guys have to say. So, and if you want to see more part 2 of me talking about this in the future episodes I'm about to watch, Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, show love and peace to the world. And peace.